so before we get started in this, I got some parts that I'm putting on here. The destroyed Kustoms center console and dash and switches and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sponsored by them. These are all stuff that I bought myself. Kind of back into getting to do car stuff. So if you would like, subscribe, that kind of, let me know if folks are out there looking at stuff. At the very least, give me a thumbs up or something so that I know if anybody's even bothering to look at what I'm doing here. So hopefully though, we're going to start getting some more content put together. So let's get it. All right, so I've got the shifter. This is another destroyed Kustoms piece. My steering wheel was a destroyed Kustoms piece also. So now I have that. And then, I mean, all you guys are probably familiar with what the dash looks like on these. And the switch plates on each door. So I have these guys. Passenger side, driver's side. I have that. And I have this that are gonna go in though and replace the stock stuff. So I think I'm gonna start here, and near as I can tell, it's just to pop these out, but we'll verify. And then I'm gonna have to obviously swap the switches into the plate. So let's get cracking. Okay, so to remove this, just put a little trim tool under here, and then just kind of carefully pry that up. And then you have to take the plug out, and there's just this little tab right here. So you push that down, and then you can pull, once that's pushed in, that unlocks it, and then you can pull it out. So carefully, don't just pull it out by the wire, but carefully pull that out. All right, so I came inside so I can get a little air conditioning, a little more comfortable. Then I'm guessing you just take these screws out here, and then that cover should pop off. So it looks like the ones that fit are the T8. Those seem to go in there pretty good. So let's do that. So you got the screws out, and then there's the little lock tab right there. I have to pop that out so that I can get the cover to pop off. Well, this has turned out to be a bit more involved than I thought it was gonna be, but so this, when you take the screws out, you pull the cover off, then pop the board out carefully. And then it looks something like this. I already got some of the knobs in that, and I'll put it back together and show videos of putting it back, or film putting it back together. But down inside of here, in order to get this to come loose, the lock and unlock buttons have to be disconnected or cut free. So inside of here, you can see that gray, like a lock. It's like a little clip lock. So there's one on either side of it. And once you click that and loosen it, then the button can come out, and then the cover comes off. And I said, that's the gray thing from the inside. So that's the back of the button. And you have to pry these to get them loose off of, and this sits in there like so. And then on the inside of that, you can see there we go. You can see the little tips, or these will snap onto. So there, now I have the cover off. So now to put all that stuff back in there. Alrighty, few little pieces of information here that might come in handy. These little white doodads will come out. These little rocker arms may come out. If they do, sorry about the handprint there. If they do, they're easy enough to put back in. You can see they just like so, and then on the back, on the one side of them, there's a groove, and then you just have to line up the little grooves, and that'll drop right in. If I'm coordinated, I have to try to do it one-handed. See, like so, then boop, the side goes back in there. All right, so there's that. So yeah, see, like the rocker fell out. To get that in, let's see if I can manage to get my camera, my phone to cooperate here. So the little rock arm, the first, so you can see you've got the pins here and the pins here. It's easier, or I found it to be easier, if you line the pins up on the inside on the actual switch part first. Put the rocker in the right way. Line them up here first on the bottom, and then you kind of have to pick it up a little bit. To get it to go in there. And then the rocker will do like it's supposed to do. You can kind of see a little mechanism, maybe not, but you can see the rocker moving. So there's that. And then, like I said, the little white pieces, just line up my finger in the way. There's a notch, and then there's like one for each of them. So see which one's got a better view here. So on the top, line up the slots on the side. There's a little slot there, and then slot in the middle, that drops in. And then that drops in. And another one. So there, so that's that back together. You have to take, screw in the middle, and when the 4 screws around the outside. So that'll get this. Now, that took care of that part. Getting the lock buttons out of the bottom was fun. Let me put this back in and set it down. So these, kind of tried, I think I showed these earlier. I've been messing with this for a minute, so I kind of lost where I'm at here. So these have these little, like the tabs, and the tabs, I don't know if you can, see if I can get a good light. You can kind of see them, there you go, just on the inside, right at the top and the bottom. And then these guys just, you can hear it like snap in, so that's how they lock together. So there's that, and then you just have to pry it back out just to unlock on that side and that side, then that's how they come apart. And then I'm gonna use the old one because it's easier. So these guys will slide in and out. So they slide in and out here, and then the button locks in on the top. Okay, so that was all good. I had to, you can see where he put some filler in here. I had to massage this a good bit to get it to work, because when I put it together, it would pin the buttons down for like the right, left, for the right, left buttons for the mirrors, the mirror selectors. Those were getting pinned down so they wouldn't allow it to move any. And then also on this side, you can see, maybe the other one will be better. Around where the buttons go here, there's these grooves. Well, on this, and I get how it happens. I mean, there's a lot of resin on here with that. So these were filled with resin, or not filled necessarily, but there was a bunch of resin in there, which wouldn't let the buttons go like they're supposed to. You can still hear it's kind of stiff a little bit, but I got it to where I think it'll work. So I cleaned a bunch of that stuff out and got them cleaned up. So they actually work. So now, to put this guy back together, you have to, that drops, That drops. And then this is your circuit board with all the buttons and lights and whatnot. That goes in. You can hear all that stuff rattling around in there. So then that just goes. Pop that in place there. So there's all of our stuff here. And then you can snap it. Have to line up those grooves. You can see on the top there, those little tabs. Those have to line up. And then you probably have to pull the window switches to kind of get them to pop up a little bit. There, like that, then they should go. Oh, might help if I get those lined up. There we go. And then, boop. So there we go. That's all locked together. Then this, you have to be careful for the pins to make sure that the pins go in the holes without getting jacked up. So you're joining this adventure with me. So there you go. So those popped in there like so. Then everything's pretty well pinned down, and then just put the screws back in. So we'll do that. And then I get to pray that this all goes together, or all went together right, and that it will actually work. It was, I've been here, I don't know, probably a little over an hour for sure, trying to get the stuff on the inside cleaned up and all that so that the buttons would actually, so everything would go and kind of work like it's supposed to. So, and then one other little piece that I'm not real thrilled about, and I have to figure out how to do that. It's probably going to require some super glue and some ingenuity. Don't do them too tight. This thing's pretty wicked. It's not sponsored by them, but I found it up at one of the outlet malls, and they had a tool store in there, and they had this thing, and it comes with all kinds of different bits, kits and stuff for, I mean, just all sorts of stuff. And this thing has been an absolute godsend since we moved into the house and had to put a bunch of stuff together. And then, so you have there. And then these guys, you just put her in the middle, and then she clicks. There you have it. And then, like I said, I'll go put it back together and pray the works. So this is the part that I'm not real cool with. So on the original plate, you've got the spot in the middle. On this one, I don't have that. So I'm probably gonna have to get another plate and see if I can't cut that out somehow and like super glue it in the middle, because I don't really want that hole. But that's that with all the buttons in it. So they have there's the pin that goes in. So I had to take it back apart again, and I still had to massage a little more on the buttons, but I did, I know it works, so I can go ahead and pop it in there. Let me get back out. So there's that. And I said I know. That stupid bead. selectors right up. And the mirrors move. Well, that worked. It works. So there you have it. So there. I said the only thing I don't really like is the gap there, but I can figure something out. But I think that looks pretty sweet like it is. So now I'll go mess with that one. So hopefully, now that I kind of know what I'm doing, that won't take me near as long to put together. And one, there's not as much stuff in it. So there's that.